Russ, before we get started with Richard Jones, let's talk about how we got here. First of all, it's 750 miles or so to get to this point where we could finally see Richard.
Well, we trudged through the desert for the first day and a half, but we left Sunday morning from Salt Lake City and came up I-84 all the way through to Ontario, Oregon, and then we hung out at the McDonald's and where was that at?
Napa.
Trying to make the decision on where we're going to go next because it was still early, and we decided to head over to Burns, Oregon.
Yeah, so from Ontario across, it's just Highway 20, and it's Highway 20 right to where we are right now.
It is. We're just right off of Highway 20 at, can you pronounce the name of that pass?
Santiam
Pass.
And Highway 20 turned out to be fun for me because it was like a walk through down memory lane with my mom's side of the family. We found the house that my mother was born and raised in just outside of the turn to Harper, Oregon.
That's right.
And then a little farther up the road in Brothers, we found the red schoolhouse that my grandmother taught 8 grades at one time in one room.
So we're kind of labeling this trip the Tim Hughes Family History Drive.
There wasn't a lot to look at, let me tell you that, until you cleared Brothers, and then you could see the beginning of the mountains in the distance, and we got to Bend, and everything changed.
I think the fun thing now up here is that Richard got us on some dirt roads with the big bikes. That was kind of a fun ride in.
A little scary, actually. So we found our way to a camp right on the Pacific Crest Trail, and it's called Big Lake Campground or Big Lake Camp.
Yeah, this is the Big Lake Campground, which is on the other side of the lake, and this is the Big Lake Youth Campground, which is a Seventh-day Adventist camp.
And the reason for meeting you here is this is one of the supply stops along the way of the Pacific Crest Trail.
That's correct. A lot of us will send our resupply boxes here, and they're very happy to keep the boxes for us. They're downstairs in their headquarter buildings, and we just go downstairs and rummage through them until we find the box that belongs to us.
Yeah. We know him as Richard. Everybody that walked by said, "Hey, Rabbit." and we met Sailor's Moon, and we met Laptop, and we met Siesta.
I wonder where they got those names.
I don't know.
Laptop and Siesta, I think those were probably given to them by someone along the way.
Yeah, there is some camaraderie out here, though, isn't there?
Very, very much so. You know, if we just went by our regular names of Richard, Tom, Jane, Mary, we wouldn't remember each other. But you talk about, you get a trail name that's unique. You don't forget the person,
You spent a couple of days, when we checked with you last time, you said you were going to lay over a couple of nights with your wife and your daughter in Bend. And we actually spent the night in Burns. And made our way to Bend.
Can you figure out where they named that city from?
Burns?
Burns, yeah.
That is hot out there. And so our ride from Bend is actually 40-some miles to here. Your walk up the trail was 11.
That's true. So I started at 7 this morning and got here at 1. And you started at?
I think we were in Bend about 11 o'clock or noon, I guess.
Yeah,
so
right around there.
We grabbed lunch and then came up.
Yeah, we had about a 2-hour drive. By the time
Let me tell you, though, you look great. I mean, obviously I didn't see you before you started this, but you look fantastic.
Well, that's because I've had 3 days off.
So we're looking at you with all your resupply here, and it's educational for us because we've been talking about it. Now we actually get to see the process for you. But you started this at the end of April, so you're nearing 4 months now. You're 9 days away from clearing Oregon and getting into Washington, and there's light at the end of this tunnel.
Thank goodness. Yeah, it gets pretty monotonous. It's been a fun trip, but it gets monotonous walking through the woods every day. And when my wife and daughter were here this last couple of days, we decided that I needed an MP3, whatever those, a little.
Yeah, unless you get some music on the trail, huh?
Yeah, a little tiny one that's about 1 inch square. Right. And so they were going to buy one of those. They're only about $40, and they're going to download it with all kinds of John Denver music, and it's very simple. You only go forward or backwards.
Yeah, it's a shuffle. I think that's what they call it, is the iPad shuffle.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. And so they're going to load it up and send it to me at Cascade Lock. So when I walk through Washington, I'll have something to, I'm so tired of listening to the voices in my head. The conversations are always the same.
So 11 miles today, we're holding you up right now. I feel bad about that because you're kind of in this mode now where you want to motor on down this trail.
Well, it's always fun to see you guys, and I'll make my 20 miles regardless. And 20 miles a day is what I can do. Anything over 20 miles is just a plus.
It was fun when we pulled in here, and by the way, we're going to mix this to video, so you'll be able to see our first, approach here to the Big Lake Campground, the youth camp. But we didn't know exactly who we were looking for, and we rode past a guy that was hiking, and I wondered if that was Richard.
I was thinking the same thing you were. I wonder if that's Richard. Well, he's not waving at us or anything, and well, let's just keep going. If Richard's not here, we'll turn around and go find that other guy and interview him.
Yeah. You said a minute ago, and this is the first time I've heard you say this, and you shouldn't be afraid to admit it, but there was, I don't know how long ago, but not long ago, you were on the trail and you called your wife and said, "This is it, I'm done."
It was right after Crater Lake. Crater Lake, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Crater Lake? Yeah. Sometimes my body just won't move. I can't lift my legs. I have no energy to do anything, and I was thinking, and this went on all morning long for 3 or 4 hours, and I thought, if this is the way it's going to be for the rest of the trail, there's no sense in going on. And so and having a pity party and having cell phone service, I called and cried and said I'm through, but it was just a lot of times it's just the electrolytes that are out of balance. I find that if I don't, and electrolytes is nothing more than salt tablets. And so I found a salt tablet in my pack and took it, and that helped considerably to put the chemicals in my body back into balance, and that gave me the energy I needed to take one more step.
Wow. When you look both directions on this Pacific Crest Trail, it's interesting, isn't it?
It is.
Because we've talked about it for months, and now we're looking at it.
Yeah, it is interesting. It's always interesting to come up to the sign that says Pacific Crest Trail Tracking. I've crossed that sign a couple of times since you started, primarily over in California, going over Donner Pass, and also through the Sierras in the spring. But I don't know that you were on the trail yet. We've crossed it a few times, and I think about it. I said, well, Richard's going to be hiking across the road here,
So your next supply spot is 100 miles up the road, you said?
About 110 miles, a place called Timberline Lodge, at a city, I think the city's called Government Camp, which is just before, and then the next resupply after that is Cascade Locks, which is at the Columbia River.
When you come past some of these recreational spots, you were telling us about a lake not too far from here, and you see all these people kick back, eating good food, out on the boat, visiting with family. Does it make you want to just pull up and stay for a while?
Really, the answer is yes, and if I were younger, I would take a day or two off, but being older, I don't have the luxury of kicking back and just relaxing because I can't make the miles up. Yeah. I have to make them up while it's daylight, or I just get way behind.
So 9 days away from crossing into Washington, 6 weeks possibly from getting this whole thing done. Yeah. That has to keep you motivated.
Really motivated.
And you said when you get to this point, for those that came south to north, when you get to this point, you got to be dedicated to just finishing this thing.
That's true. Those that are still hanging in here, the only way they'll go off the trail is if they have a injury to their feet or knees or something, and that's not improbable. But that's the only way that people will go off the trail. They're not going to go off just because, hey, I don't want to do it anymore. Yeah.
It is beautiful up here.
It is. I drove up expecting a big party atmosphere here, but it's pretty subdued. People walk in tired and they know what they got to do, and they're just going to get back on the trail again.
That's true. Since we've been here, there have probably been half a dozen people walk by. They know that their boxes are here. They're picking their boxes up. Their resupply boxes, they're going through them and taking what they want and put the rest in hiker boxes, and they're out of here.
Yeah. You told us about the hiker boxes before, and just a reminder, those are the boxes where people leave things that they don't need and others can go through them and pick up. It was kind of funny watching a couple of guys in there going through the
rummaging
hiker box.
Through there.
They found a pretty cool knife in there, and they're checking it out and everything, so it's kind of fun.
I saw that. I mean, who would bring a knife like that in the first place? It's just weight, and you don't need it.
Well, there's a bathroom downstairs, which they all seem to covet. One of them was talking about maybe getting in a shower. I guess there's a shower downstairs, and not to be rude, but some of them could use a shower.
We all get pretty ripe out here. And while we were in Sisters the last couple of days, my wife took my pack and my camelback pack and put that in the washer too, because you can wash your clothes, but when you put the pack on and the camelback pack, they reek just like the clothes did. So.
Well, we mentioned a minute ago, or throughout this process, that Richard celebrated his 70th birthday on the trail, but there's at least one out there older than you found out.
Yeah, there's a 75-year-old guy out here, and he's moving along pretty good. Got to give him credit for it.
Do you challenge yourself to stay ahead of him?
I really do. He's not going to pass me. I'm not going to let that guy pass me.
Yeah, this has been fun for us to come up here.
It really is. Well, we have, back to the laundry issue, we have the same feelings about our motorcycle helmets. Some people aren't even allowed to take them in the house.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when it gets hot up here. Speaking of that, it's nice to climb to this elevation for us and actually get into some cooler air. That part of it's nice.
Yes. What are we, about 4,000 here maybe?
4,500 I saw at the summit, or 48, something like that.
Okay, so really not high, but higher than coming across the Central Plateau, the high desert that you came across.
Well, we wish you well, and we're going to hang around, watch you pack your pack, and then send you back on down the trail. But what an experience for us to live it vicariously and then come out here and see you.
Yeah, that my wife said the same thing, because when you start these things, you talk about it, but until you see until you can actually see the people who are hiking and the way they look, and to see the camaraderie that goes on between hikers, it's good to see that it really is. It's a whole different ball game in order to see it as opposed to just talk about it.
Yeah. I think it's especially humbling for us to sit here in your presence. Here's a guy that's walked the entire trail from the Mexican border, footstep after footstep. I hope you weren't counting them, but there's a lot of footsteps and a lot of planning, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears.
I know there's a lot of people like this probably that have followed your story, but for us, it makes it hard for us to complain on a 10 or 12 hour motorcycle ride, because we're on that thing riding the horses instead of walking it. But it does sort of give us a different perspective. So good luck the rest of the way. We'll be talking to you up the trail, and we look forward to following you all the way to the Canada border.
All right, good. I just passed the 2,000 mile mark here, just about a mile back up the trail, and so 2,000 miles, 2,002 miles to this point right here.
It just doesn't seem that long since he passed the 1,000 mile mark, up in the Sierras.
Well, he said a minute ago that all the things that happened, what you had to endure in California, seems a lifetime ago.
It truly does. It's like it never happened.
Richard Jones, there goes one of your co-hikers. You better get on it.
Yeah, there goes. He's from Western Australia. His name is Mark, and he goes by the name of Sir Poppin.
All right. He knows we're talking about him, too.
Go, Sir Poppin.
Thanks.
Appreciate you coming out here.
You bet.
See you in about 6 weeks.
Yeah, we'll talk to you in a week.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
See ya.